You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
It's not surprising that this would get a little bit chippy, that it would get a little bit intense. Politics is a contact sport, and people will drudge up whatever they can if they think it'll help them win.
State Senator Greg Steube, State Representative Julio Gonzalez, and businessman Bill Aikens all vying for Tom Rooney's seat in Congress, all waiting at the trapezoid to debate. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to a special edition of ABC7 at 7. The race for an open seat in Congress is getting nasty between two well-known Sarasota Republicans, Julio Gonzalez and Greg Steube. Aside from personal barbs being thrown in public, the attacks are creating a tough choice for party members in the area. ABC7's Adam Cellini shows us what's happened so far.
Venice Republican Frank Patty wished against it, but it happened all the same. A primary race between two well-known Republicans for an open seat in Congress has gotten personal.
It just keeps escalating to the point which gets purely nasty, and the facts get twisted all over the place.
Instead of promoting their similar political platforms, Greg Steube and Julio Gonzalez are trying to vilify one another's character, much to the lament of those who know them.
Does that wear on you a little bit to see such, I guess, moral attacks?
Yeah, that does. That really does.
This summer, much has been dredged up about the two longtime state lawmakers. Steube has dedicated an entire website to anti-Trump tweets Gonzalez wrote before the 2016 presidential primary, and Gonzalez blames him for leaking a story about a malpractice lawsuit against his company, the Orthopedic Center of Venice.
Having been the victim of this vicious attack, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the I think it's 3-4 hour deposition on film on my website.
In turn, Gonzalez attacked Steube for working during his time in office as a consultant for the law firm Sarasota County hired to lobby on their behalf in Washington. Steube's military record has been questioned too, from those saying he mischaracterized himself as a combat veteran in the past. Steube denies doing so, but it's given Gonzalez and the third Republican candidate, Bill Aikens, more negative ammo.
Aikens is a combat veteran. No two ways about it. The guy's in a lot of combat. And he feels that Steube presented himself as a combat veteran and wasn't really a combat veteran.
But all is fair in love and war and politics, according to Herald Tribune political editor Zach Anderson.
Politics is a contact sport, and people will drudge up whatever they can if they think it'll help them win.
Considering what's at stake in the historically Republican District 17, it's no surprise.
These open seats are pretty rare. A lot of times people will get in Congress and they'll stay there for years, if not decades. So the stakes are pretty high.
The fighting has forced some party members to choose sides. Gonzalez receiving endorsements from Marco Rubio and Ray Pilon, and Steube from heavy hitters like Citrus Mutual and more. But when the dust settles, will these candidates support whoever comes out on top?
They all swore at the end of it, every one of them, that was one of the questions, will you support the candidate who wins? There wasn't even a hesitation. All three of them said, yes, I will. I expect them to keep their word.
In Sarasota, Adam Cellini, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Thanks, Adam. Our debate with the candidates for the 17th Congressional District begins right after we get a check on the first alert forecast. Over to ABC7's chief meteorologist, Bob Harrington. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. And some pretty heavy rainfall earlier. Some tremendous downpours really in a short period of time from Parrish southward to Lakewood Ranch. For the most part, that is over. And now we're looking at some inland storms developing along the outflow boundary from those storms that have really generated some pretty heavy activity now near Arcadia, stretching down toward Punta Gorda. There may be some delays of some of the flights taking off from the Punta Gorda Airport, Charlotte County Airport, as a result of these lightning strikes that you see right there. Also up near Arcadia and Nocatee, some pretty heavy rainfall and some lightning now occurring and starting to intensify as these outflow boundaries kind of met there. You can see this one traveling off to the northwest, while another one coming off from the west to the east, and right there where they meet, that's where the explosion of storms usually takes place, and that's what's happening tonight. Well, that rain I mentioned earlier was pretty heavy, especially along State Road 70 northward up into 64, State Road 64, and places to the north just south of Parrish, up to 2 inches estimated of rainfall. 82 degrees right now. The outflow boundaries from those storms, rain-cooled air, if you will, it's brought things down to 72 degrees. At one point, it was in the upper 70s, so it's starting to rebound a little bit. Winds are rather light across the region. They're coming in from the northwest right now, and Looks like we'll see those winds switch around more to an easterly direction after, say, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. And we should see that easterly flow, which will make for a very comfortable morning tomorrow to start things off on your Thursday. More on your weather forecast coming up in a few minutes, Alan.
Thanks, Bob. Chances are this time last year, none of these three men had any idea that they would be running for Congress right now. All of that changed earlier this year when Congressman Tom Rooney announced he would join the chorus of Republican members of Congress retiring. Rooney blamed the toxic atmosphere in Congress. There is also concern that the Democrats have a good shot in taking over Congress this fall. The Florida 17 is an overwhelmingly Republican congressional district. There are 2 Democrats running. Both have barely raised any money, so very likely one of these 3 men will be your next congressman. State Senator Greg Steube, State Representative Julio Gonzalez, and businessman Bill Akins. So here we are, folks. I wish to thank you all for coming here today. We're going to begin with opening arguments, and we're going to give you all each a minute to introduce yourself to voters. And Senator, I'll start with you.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having us on tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to debate the issues of the day. I want to first thank the citizens and the voters of Sarasota County for giving me the opportunity to represent them for this past 8 years. And over those past 8 years, I have stayed strong on the principles that I believe in. And that's why I've been endorsed by the NRA, because I have a track record of fighting for the Second Amendment. In my time in the legislature, I've filed over 23 pro-Second Amendment bills. And I'm also been endorsed by the Family Resource Council Action Pact because of my commitment to life and to my protecting the unborn. I filed a number of different bills as it relates to protecting the unborn. And I want to take that experience and all the things that I've done here in Tallahassee, and I want to take that to Washington, D.C. And I want to go to Washington, D.C. to help Trump pass his agenda. I want to fight with President Trump like I fought at the state level to help him pass his illegal immigration plan, to help him pass tax cuts, to make the tax cuts that we just passed permanent, and continue to work on cutting regulations and businesses. Thank you.
Representative Gonzalez.
Well, my name is Dr. Julio Gonzalez, and first of all, thank you for having us on your show today, and thank you to our viewers for having us into your homes. This is a very important decision that we're going to make. I'm an orthopedic surgeon. I've been practicing in Venice for 13 years now, and I have been fighting for our Constitution. I've been fighting for less government intrusion since 2003. I've been fighting against socialized health care, and yes, I've been fighting against death panels as well. Now the question becomes, where do I best serve my fellow citizens, and where do I best serve my community? And the answer to me is at least to have the community consider me for Congress. I'm a veteran. I've served on the USS America. My fight against constitutional intrusions from the federal government, particularly in our health care, has taken me to law school, got my law degree, and now I am ready to continue the fight into Washington, D.C.
Very good. Mr. Akins.
Thank you. I'd like to correct your opening statement. I actually filed a run against Tom Rooney back in October.
I stand corrected.
And in January is when he bailed out, and then in February I stuck with these 2 guys. Anyway, my name is Bill Akins, and I'm a retired businessman, charter boat operator, and transportation broker. And I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer like my opponents. I'm not part of the establishment like my opponents. And I'm not part of the special interest money like my opponents. I believe that we should have fair and purely transparency in all of these financial dealings. I have not taken 1 dime out of the district except for $100 from my wife's aunt in Virginia. My other 2 opponents here have taken a lot of money from outside the district. I've come up with a 6-point God and country pledge, and I'll be talking about that a little later. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Coming up, the candidates and the differences between them.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. School is back in session, but we'll tell you what police are doing about crimes committed by teens over the summer.
We'll see if those crimes could impact enrollment. That's tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
So we watch an area of high pressure in the Atlantic provide us with a shifting wind pattern. Plus, we'll update you on the tropics.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system could make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now, SoClean.com has released the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer, risk-free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
The SoClean works, and it's a really effective product, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to use.
SoClean works on all popular CPAP machines and masks, destroying CPAP germs and bacteria without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and walk away. Voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398, or visit SoClean.com today.
The Players Center invites you to explore the family dynamic in the classic story of On Golden Pond. The Tony Award-winning play opening August 9th is funny, thoughtful, and brutally honest. Call the Players at 365-2494 or visit us online at theplayers.org. On Golden Pond is calling you.
Planning a Carnival Fantasy Cruise out of Mobile? Then check out the park and cruise packages at the luxurious Battle House and Renaissance Riverview Plaza hotels. Stay at the Battle House for $169 per night, or the Riverview Plaza for just $149 per night, and leave your car for the duration of your cruise. Includes transportation to and from the cruise terminal. If you're cruising out of Mobile, come stay with us. Call 1-800-MARRIOTT or visit Marriott.com now.
Another pair of satisfied emotions. Looks to me like elation and maybe some amazement. It's part of the Honda Summer Spectacular event experience. You could say satisfaction comes standard here, just like the Honda Accord comes standard with a luxurious, roomy interior. All at the Honda Summer Spectacular event.
We see it all the time.
Visit your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda Accord, 2018's North American Car of the Year.
Welcome back. We continue our debate in the Florida 17th Congressional District GOP primary with State Senator Greg Steube, State Representative Julio Gonzalez, and businessman Bill Akins. Now time for the questions, and all three of you have real street creds when it comes to conservative politics and a conservative political philosophy. So, Senator, I'll start with you and ask, what is the major policy difference between you and your two competitors?
Well, I think the biggest policy difference, well, there's several. If I only talk about one, I have fought and advocated for the Second Amendment. It's one thing to sit and push a red or green button as it relates to your positions on issues. It's much different being at the forefront of a fight. And I have filed 23 pro-Second Amendment bills in my time in the legislature. That doesn't come easy with the reactions of how emotional an issue like that is. And it's because I feel passionate, and it's because I fought for my country in Iraq, and I want to fight for the values that we as conservatives have. And for me, one of those big issues is the Second Amendment, and I have a track record of doing that, and Dr. Gonzalez had an opportunity to file bills on the Second Amendment, and he hasn't. So I want to continue to work and fight for the Second Amendment at the national level if I'm elected.
Representative Gonzalez, I believe you also have an A rating with the NRA.
Yes, sir, I do.
Does the senator have you in terms of his dedication to the Second Amendment more than you?
No, absolutely not. It's interesting that you file a gazillion bills, but all of them are unable to pass even the committee that you chair. It's also interesting that the NRA would have picked him as somebody that they would endorse when he's had reports on the newspapers that shots have been fired in his home, and that one time when he called for the police for assistance, he actually stepped out with an AR-15, necessitating the sheriff's department to detain him. And then he called the sheriff the next day to yell at him for why he was being detained. I think it's ridiculous that we would have somebody with such a track record as a spokesperson for the Second Amendment, and I think any one of us would be able to do a good job in policy.
I think that qualifies for a rebuttal.
Yeah, I don't have any idea what he's talking about. Would love to, I didn't come on the show to talk about whatever it is that, obviously these guys want to talk a lot about me. I came on this show to talk about the issues and talk about things that the real voters of the state of Florida want to hear.
Okay, Bill?
Okay, my A rating with the NRA is an AQ, meaning I've only filled out the questionnaire, and according to the questionnaire, my answers give me an A rating. The plus rating only they give to legislators. Funny thing, though, Mr. Stubbe worked for a lobbying firm that was also lobbying for the Brady Bill's gun control people. That's kind of strange. Is he really that strong, or is he just, looking at the dollars?
We're blowing our format here, but I think that also qualifies for a rebuttal. Greg?
Yeah, I'm the only candidate in this race endorsed by the NRA. My former law firm has 150 lawyers that represent a litany and array of clients. I've been endorsed by the NRA. I've been endorsed by the NRA because they know that I will go to Washington, D.C. and fight for the values that we hold as in the Second Amendment.
Okay, our debate with the candidates from the 17th Congressional District will continue right after we get a check on the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Hart. Bob.
Thanks, Mr. Cohn. We're looking at some red tide reports coming out. Yes, it's still here, and it looks like it's here for a little while longer at least. Although I always look for some encouraging signs. To see a white label right there indicating very low concentrations where it had been high just about a week ago, but still the reds and orange showing up from Sarasota County all the way through Manatee County. Also, low concentrations up at the north end of Anna Maria, and got a report from a captain up there who says that it's improving somewhat up in Anna Maria Island. We have a full report on mysuncoast.com too if you care to go to there. Lakewood Ranch webcam showing some rainfall moving in just after 4 o'clock. Lakewood Ranch came down pretty heavy too for about 45 minutes, and quite a few lightning strikes as well. Producing some heavy rainfall. Now we're getting some clearing skies, still some debris clouds left over. High pressure has now moved to the north. It had been down to our south. It's moving to the north. We're getting more of a southeasterly wind component. And with that in mind, you can see these storms moving from the southeast to the northwest. It collides with that sea breeze, and showers and storms have a tendency to converge right there. And we start to see that action more and more, I think, over the upcoming days. Although that pattern will persist. The drier air coming in at the upper levels of the atmosphere will limit our chances for a widespread rainfall event, but nonetheless, it's coming down pretty heavy right now in Arcadia, as expected, near Punta Gorda, getting close to Port Charlotte, even getting some bolts from the blue, we call it, outside the rain area. A couple of lightning strikes occurring there, so be careful in Northport. If you can hear that thunder, you're close enough to getting hit by lightning. In Manatee County, quiet now. The coastal locations, no rainfall around, and it should stay that way through this evening. Now, this dry air that you see to the east of the Bahamas, that is slowly working its way in our direction with this upper level low spinning just around Puerto Rico. As it moves to the west, it'll bring more of that dry air in. We'll still see a few scattered storms tomorrow, though, as a result of that southeasterly wind flow at the surface anyway, and that means a few passing showers late in the day. We'll start off sunny tomorrow. Should be a nice sunny start and a kind of a cooler start, too. You know, it was down in the low 70s this morning with that east wind. Makes things a lot more comfortable than we've seen with that west wind. Showers and storms will start to develop in the afternoon. They'll be scattered about, and they'll continue to be sporadic across the region up until around 7, 8 o'clock. Most of the action should be out of here by then. Then we'll repeat the thing again tomorrow, I should say on Friday, with showers and storms developing in the late afternoon and evening. That's more of a typical pattern that we're used to here in Florida. We haven't had much of that this summer. Northeast winds at 5 miles an hour, and that will start to bring those temperatures down, bring some of that rain-cooled air our way. 91 the high, 73 was the nice start this morning, and 67 the record low. Sarasota 82 degrees right now after our high today. Did get up into the upper 80s to low 90s around town. We'll see a heat index up near 101 tomorrow afternoon, and some showers and storms scattered about. Most areas won't see the rainfall, but some areas will, like we saw today from Lakewood Ranch northward to Parrish. Southeast winds turn to the southwest. 5 to 10 knots for boaters out there, a light chop on the bays and inland waters. Here's the 7-day forecast. Slight chances for scattered late-day storms at least, and that continues over the weekend, although a little less action on Saturday. Sunday only a 30% chance for late-day storms, so it will stay warm. High temperatures in the low 90s. Alan will be back right after this. Stick around.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area. Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
This is an important message for anyone with Medicare. You may be eligible for an all-in-one Medicare plan that combines hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage together with extra benefits that may include dental, vision, hearing aids, and much more. Some of these plans have a $0 monthly premium regardless of your income. That's right. For one low plan premium, or in some cases a $0 premium, you may be able to get coverage for your hospital visits, doctor appointments, prescription drugs, routine dental care, eyeglasses and contact lenses, hearing aids, and possibly more. Today may be the first time you've heard about this type of Medicare plan. The advisors at the Medicare.com helpline are licensed insurance agents who will explain more when you call. Call now to see if you qualify. Call the number on your screen now. Call now to see if you qualify for these benefits. You worked hard for your Medicare. Now is the time for your Medicare to work hard for you. Not affiliated with or acting on behalf of any government agency or program.
Planning the right amount of food is hard. The Guestimator makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner. Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at SaveTheFood.com.
Hurricane season is here, and so is the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. This essential resource arms you with vital information you need to protect your family and property when severe weather threatens the Suncoast, including how to create your readiness plan and survival kit, shelter locations, what to do with pets, and important phone numbers. Visit mysuncoast.com and download the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. Brought to you by Batteries Plus, the Florida Lottery, and Sarasota Glass and Mirror.
When ABC7 declares a first alert weather day, it means we can expect major changes to weather conditions here along the Suncoast.
It means there could be severe, potentially dangerous weather ahead.
We tell you when a first alert weather day is coming because we want you to be prepared.
A first alert weather day is an advance warning. We'll let you know about any changes in the weather when the first signs appear.
ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
Welcome back. We are continuing our debate in the Florida 17th Congressional District GOP primary with State Senator Greg Steube, State Representative Julio Gonzalez, and businessman Bill Akins. Gentlemen, recently the House Intelligence Committee Chair, Devin Nunes, made a speech on the campaign trail where he said it was important that the Republicans maintain the control of Congress because, to quote him, if we have to keep all these seats, we have to keep the majority. If we do not keep the majority, all of this goes away. He's referring to the president. So the question to you, Representative, is your pledge of allegiance to the voters, to the oath that you would take if you were elected, or is it to this particular president?
My pledge of allegiance is to the Constitution of the United States of America, pure and simple. That's what the Constitution requires. That's the oath of office that I intend to take in January of 2019. I think, however, Congressman Nunes has a very significant and important point that has constitutional ramifications, specifically the overt attempt by the Democrats to impeach a president over A, dislikes, or B, differences in policy. I think that would be a strong threat to our constitutional integrity and will establish a terrible precedent for our future. And when elected, I will fight against that.
Bill, same question to you. Are you going to be loyal to the Constitution, the oath of office, or is there a difference between that and allegiance to the president?
Well, the Constitution is the main thing that we focus on, and my allegiance is to the Constitution, and if it may be another president, that's who we would be loyal to. There's a lot of questions about loyalty to the president. For example, did you know Senator Steube has taken almost $80,000 from the Club for Gross, who keeps attacking President Trump? He's taken over $5,000 from the Koch brothers, who keep attacking President Trump. He's working with these groups. He was endorsed by the Republican Liberty Caucus, who has never endorsed President Trump and refused to do so. So you have to ask, where's the people's loyalty? I think In his case, it's the money. He doesn't care where it's at, it's just the money.
Senator, so I'm going to give you an opportunity to address both things. Again, the main question, responding to what Representative Nunez said in that speech, do you owe your Pledge of Allegiance to the Constitution, to your constituents, and is there a difference between that and loyalty to the President? And if you want to respond to Bill, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, just like I swore an oath to the Constitution to serve against all enemies, foreign and domestic, when I served in the military, I would do the same in Congress. My allegiance is to our country, our Constitution, and all the things that it stands for. I've always supported President Trump, and I will go to Washington and support his agenda if I get elected. I think it's no secret that if the Democrats win the House, that they would try impeachment proceedings. And if I'm elected in August, on August 28th in the primary, I will fight tooth and nail to make sure that Nancy Pelosi is not the next Speaker of the U.S. House.
We just have a couple of seconds, but I want to give you a chance to respond to Bill, who basically said that you have taken money from conservative Republican groups that are not exactly supportive of the President.
I mean, there's people all over this state, all over this district, from doctors to businessmen to lawyers, you name it, that have supported my candidacy for this race. And if you look at the different contributions that I've had in my race, a lot of it have come from locally right here in this district and from a wide array of backgrounds. And because they believe in my conservative message, they believe that I will be the best person to represent this district in U.S. Congress.
Okay, we are just getting warmed up. Our debate with the candidates for the 17th Congressional District continues after a quick break. Stay with us.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
So you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid. Your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-965-2704.
Independence U for an independent you.
Call 1-800-965-2704.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
The ABC7 First Alert weather app just got even better. It's easy to use once you download it. First, tell the app to follow you, so you get alerts pinpointed to exactly where you are. Then customize your settings with all the places you go, from the beach to grandmother's house. Get accurate alerts for everyone you care about. You can even pick which weather alerts and categories you want and what they sound like. More ways to customize and more ways to keep your family safe. Download the ABC7 First Alert weather app today.
Everyone's buzzing about Suncoast View, live at 9 on ABC7.
I like watching the Suncoast View.
I like the Suncoast View.
The cooking segments, I love the recipes. The theater segments are terrific.
Join Stephanie Roberts, Linda Carson, and Joey Panic on Suncoast View for hot topics, everyday issues, celebrities, food, fashion, fitness, and everything in between. Nothing is off limits.
They're just fun.
For smart, fun talk in the morning, watch Suncoast View, live at 9. Weekdays on ABC7. You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30.
Welcome back, everyone. We are continuing our debate in the Florida 17th Congressional District GOP primary with State Senator Greg Steube, State Representative Julio Gonzalez, and businessman Bill Akins. Bill, let me start with you this time. For better or for worse, money plays a big role in our politics. And if you look at all the local channels, including this one, you'll see that there are a lot of commercials from Representative Gonzalez and Senator Steube. You lag far behind both men in terms of raising money from supporters and being able to fight competitively on the airwaves. Don't you need to do something like that to be considered a strong candidate who could actually win this GOP primary?
You know, I believe I can actually win this. However, I will not sell my soul for a vote. I will not do that, such as certainly Mr. Steube has. I have a whole packet right here of a network of dark money that is tied to Mr. Steube, dark money PACs, and it going back for the last 3 election cycles. Tens of millions of dollars have gone through this, and you can't find out where it's going. It is just a big puzzle. And it's this kind of money that we need to do away with because of, like Mr. Steube, he's getting all of this money and he's doing all of these attack ads against Dr. Gonzalez, you know, saying he wasn't, he's a no-Trumper, but in the same time, he's taking all of this money from anti-Trump organizations. That's pretty disingenuous, if you ask me. And the whole money system is corrupt.
Senator Steube, I'll let you respond to that in a moment, but let me ask you about the larger point, because some of the attacks on you have continued, have included the lobbying that your former law firm does on behalf of the county and other interested parties. Lobbyists are one of the boogeymen in politics that have gotten the rap, deservedly or not, that we don't want lobbyists to have outsized influence on our members of Congress or state legislatures. So speak for a moment to viewers who just don't like lobbyists, don't like lobbying, and don't want a congressman who may have done that as a profession.
Well, again, I worked with a law firm that did a wide array of different things, and one of the accusations is that I used taxpayer dollars. It was my former law firm that represented Sarasota County. It's still my current law firm that represents Sarasota County, and if you do a public records request to see where that money goes, it's never gone to me or to my legal company. It's gone to Becker and Polikoff. So to say that I'm making $500,000 on lobby fees is just egregious, and all you have to do is look at our public Form 6s that we file and see what my salary was while I was there. But back to all of these different issues that keep coming up. Look, I actually filed a bill this past session for the last 2 years while I was in the Senate to curb dark money at the state level. But what happens at the state level and what happens at the national level are totally different. I have no control over what the Club for Growth does, or an organization that just endorsed my candidacy and did a media buy for me with Honor, which is a veterans organization that supports veterans, and they just did a media buy. You can't coordinate at the federal level. At the state level, I did a bill that wouldn't allow political committees to move money around, because what they can do is they can move money around into political committees, and then you get attacked from a political committee and you don't know where it's coming from. So I actually filed a bill that would require those political committees to not have the ability to do that, because I don't think that that's right. At the federal level, that doesn't happen because the candidates cannot coordinate with super PACs or whatever these outside organizations are doing. My campaign hasn't bought a single lick of TV. That has all been outside organizations that I don't have control over.
Julio, let me give you a chance now to address some of the issues that have been thrown at you during this campaign, including the malpractice lawsuit against, and correct me if I'm wrong, against your practice and another doctor who was there. In the very minimum, what should voters and people in our community think when either a physician or a physician's group is accused of malpractice? That's one of the most important things that to any physician.
Well, I think this this event, this communication that took place and gripped our community over the past week regarding, number one, the disclosure of the lawsuit to the public sphere, despite the fact that this is a private situation that took place between an individual who was suing my partner, goes to the core of what's wrong with medical malpractice litigation today, because the lawsuit is a completely frivolous lawsuit. And the commentary that was made by the plaintiff attorney when he was confronted about the issue was completely legally unpalatable and unsound, and we're actually seeking sanctions from that attorney. It also speaks grossly about the state of politics today, because we are essentially at a point where a candidate would be willing to bring that to the attention of the public where it doesn't belong, despite whatever implications and consequences there may be to that family that is grieving presently.
Senator, you've also been the subject of some attacks, including on your service to our country in the military. Set the record straight in terms of your service in Iraq, I believe. Were you a combat veteran? Did you ever, if you're not, did you ever claim to be one at some point during this campaign or before?
Look, and I did this a couple weeks ago when we discussed some of these issues before. I will tell the viewers what I did and let them be the judge of my service to our country. After September 11th, which occurred while I was on my first semester of law school, I decided to graduate law school early and enlist in the United States Army. I enlisted as an infantryman. I went in as an E4. I went to basic combat training at Fort Benning, Georgia. I went from there to officer candidate school. I was selected for officer candidate school, where I was selected as an infantry officer. I went to infantry officer basic course. I graduated from infantry officer basic course. I spent about 1.5 years in the infantry, and then I branch transferred from the infantry branch to the JAG Corps. And I was assigned to the 25th Infantry Division in Schofield Barracks. 6 months after getting there, we deployed to Iraq. When we deployed to Iraq, we were based in Tikrit, but I constantly was doing missions all throughout the northern part of the country. When I was there, I was the Chief of Detainee Operations for Multinational Division North. I went on a number of different missions as it relates to prosecuting detainees that attacked our service members. I was on the detainee team deciding what we did with the individuals that attacked our service members, constantly going and traveling across the country. And anybody that served any amount of time there knows that anybody that served over there is in harm's way. And I believe that all Iraq and Afghanistan people that deployed were in harm's way, and I thank them for their service to our country. And I was happy to fight for their freedom to protest me in my service to my country.
Please allow me to respond, because there's much more to this story. This story was brought to my attention by combat veterans in our community. They were appalled that Senator Stubbe, in his bid for Senate, had actually placed on his website and on other forums the words, "I am a combat veteran." I never questioned Senator Stubbe's service. As a matter of fact, I applaud it. But I do question and am disappointed about his misrepresentation of his service, because it brings, it does a disservice to those who are actual combat veterans. Let me just say one more thing, because it hasn't come out. The experiences that Senator Stubbe describes are the same experiences that I went through, except as a physician. I too was in a combat zone. I too was in Mogadishu, where we heard shots fired. I too felt like I was in danger's way. But I would never, in a million years, call myself a combat veteran.
Greg, let me give you a chance to respond.
I've never misrepresented any awards that I have or have not received. I've detailed the service to my country, and I served in a combat zone. I received combat pay. If some people want to deem that a combat veteran, if some people don't, I don't care. I served my country, and I was proud to do it.
All right, Bill, let me give you just a brief opportunity to weigh in.
Okay. You know, I've known cooks, mechanics, all sorts of people in the military. They were proud of what they did. They didn't go and embellish their record for political gain. You know, all you had to do, son, was say, I served and I'm proud of it, and you would have gotten a welcome home. Thank you for your service.
Okay, we have to take a quick break because we have to pay the bills. Our debate on the candidates, with the candidates on the 17th Congressional District GOP primary will continue after a quick break. Stay with us.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Tolle Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system could make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, it would keep you up at night. Now, SoClean.com has released the world's first automated hands-free CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. With its patented design, SoClean is fast, effective, and hands-free, killing 99.9% of all CPAP germs and bacteria. Try SoClean now through this special TV offer, risk-free for 30 days. Just call 800-604-0398.
The SoClean works, and it's a really effective product, and I couldn't believe how easy it was to use.
SoClean works on all popular CPAP machines and masks, destroying CPAP germs and bacteria without the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. Just place your mask in, close the lid, and walk away. Voila! Sanitized and ready to use. Try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. This is a limited-time offer. Call now, 800-604-0398, or visit SoClean.com today.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call. TrueStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
And even if you're on a fixed income, prices fit your budget, starting at less than 32 cents a day. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease. And with no medical tests or health questions, you cannot be turned down for any reason. Call 1-800-842-7189. Now, for a free, no-obligation quote, TrueStage offers plans to fit your budget. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with Guaranteed Acceptance whole life insurance through TrueStage. Call 1-800-842-7189 now.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with a family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, fishing, or biking and hiking. Or play the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy the flavors of the Black Belt. Book your adventure at our lodges or stay in the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Welcome back. We continue our debate in Florida's 17th Congressional District GOP primary with State Senator Greg Steube, State Representative Julio Gonzalez, and businessman Bill Akins. Gentlemen, I was under the impression that the Republican Party was all about deficit reduction. Well, just in the last few days, the federal government recorded a $76.9 billion deficit in July, with increased government spending and tax cuts keeping the country on track to its record biggest annual deficit in 6 years. Bill, what happened to balancing the budget?
Good question. I know that I am strictly for a cap on spending. Actually, we need to reduce spending. I will never vote to increase taxes or revenues, whatever they, they like to call it different things, but no increases for the government, period. They take far too much. There are places that we can eliminate spending and departments we can get rid of, but the deficit has got to come down, period.
Senator, what happened to Democrats being the tax and spenders?
Well, I mean, there is no doubt that Washington has always had a spending problem. The recent omnibus spending bill that was passed, I would have voted against it because it put another $1 trillion on our deficit. We in Florida have an excellent track record of balancing our budget every single year because we have a balanced budget amendment. I support what Vern Buchanan's tried to do in a balanced budget amendment. I think we need to cut our spending significantly and balance our budget every single year, just like we do in
Congressman
Florida.
Buchanan has often called for balancing the budget. The tax cuts certainly did not help in that cause.
Yeah, I will correct slightly what Senator Steube said, in that the country didn't always have a spending problem. The spending problem began with the passage of the 16th Amendment to the Constitution and the 17th Amendment. And since then, we have had a bunch of intoxicated politicians reaching into the refrigerator and grabbing another drink.
Okay,
we need to put that to a stop.
One other quick question. A lot has been made, Representative Julio Gonzalez, about your allegiance to President Trump, that you were kind of late to the old Trump train. What would you say to your two competitors?
Well, I think there's only one competitor who's claiming that, because Bill Akins has never doubted my allegiance to President Trump. I'm the only candidate who has contributed to President Trump and Trump's campaign, and that actually occurred on October 28, 2016. On July 4th, 2016, there were pictures of me wearing my MAGA hat. Look, 70% of Republicans went through this problem, this riddle of who they were going to support. I went with Marco Rubio initially. I fought for him vociferously. Since then, I have always praised the president. I've noticed the wonderful progress that he's been making.
Senator, what difference does it make if Representative Gonzalez was late to the party, as long as he's on the train now?
Well, he branded himself as a never-Trumper. A lot of people supported other candidates in the race. They didn't say things like, Trump's no conservative, it's deplorable that Trump's still in the race, it's despicable, his immigration plans. A lot of people supported other candidates, but didn't say the type of atrocious things that Representative Gonzalez said about the president. And he branded himself as a never-Trumper. Never means never.
So he's accusing me of being effective at supporting my candidate. Look, in 2016, March of 2016, I vociferously supported Marco Rubio. President Trump has done an incredible job. Those tweets from which Senator Stubbe takes are falsely giving the impression that I am not supportive of President Trump, and it's just a falsity. That is one of the many problems with his candidacy.
I'll have to take Dr. Gonzalez's side on this. At least he's not taking money from anti-Trump groups like the senator is. You know, $5,000 from the Koch brothers, who are definitely not on the Trump train.
10 seconds, if you want to respond to that.
I've always supported this president, and I will go to Washington, D.C. and support President Trump's agenda.
Okay, coming up, we'll have the closing remarks from our guests, but right now, let's get the final check on our First Alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Alan, thank you. Here's what's happening at ABC7 Tower Cam. This is looking off to the east now, and you'll see these towering cumulonimbus building as a result of some outflow boundaries kind of meeting there, and they're all kind of chugging up toward the north right now, and the high cirrus clouds, the anvil tops of the storm spreading off in our direction here along the coast. High pressure has moved now. We're getting an east-southeasterly wind component, which is allowing us to see the convergence set up with the southeast wind butting up against the sea breeze that's developed this afternoon, and we're getting the showers and storms scattered about. Not everyone's getting the rain, but where it has rained, it's been coming down pretty heavy. Arcadia, that's starting to wind down, but really starting to intensify right now into near Port Charlotte, near Punta Gorda. This is going to slowly work its way to the north with a little drift off to the west, and it will produce some very heavy rainfall. In fact, Doppler indicated hail. I don't think it's happening because the radar beam is aimed up at the mid part of that storm where there could be hail, but by the time it reaches the surface or close to it, it more likely has melted. And as far as the current conditions go, 82 degrees. So we're getting a little bit of benefit of those inland storms and the storms that were around Lakewood Ranch up to Parrish. It's cooling down at the airport. 76, it's really cool down in Jacksonville right now, still warm in Miami and in the Keys. Temperatures currently where it has rained, it has cooled. Bradenton, you're at 81 degrees. 86 though in Inglewood. Venice, you didn't get much rainfall at all, and looks like tomorrow's forecast calling for a few scattered late day storms, and we will see the heat index up near 101 by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And it looks as though we'll see that continue on Friday. Now, the fifth named storm of the season has formed in a good place, a place like we like to see it, out here in the North Atlantic, having no problems to any land area at this time. Only a concern to boating interest, really, and not much else happening. The Caribbean, great weather for cruising down there, and the Gulf of Mexico is quiet as well. And the latest on this, it is a subtropical storm, Ernesto. It could become a tropical storm soon as it moves into some relatively warmer water, and it may develop tropical characteristics by tomorrow, and it continues to head away from the United States. Eventually it will get absorbed by a frontal system as it heads toward Ireland. Well, satellite and radar over the rest of the U.S. showing another storm system bringing some moderate to heavy rainfall into Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and parts of western Ohio near Toledo, stretching down toward Dayton and also Cincinnati, some rainfall there. Elsewhere across the U.S., they could use a little bit of that rain out west, but they're getting a little bit of activity for the fire out there. But notice California not seeing much of that at all, and that's a result of this high pressure ridge, which continues to cause high fire danger in Nevada, also into Oregon, as well as into southwestern portions of Wyoming tonight. And it looks as though that high fire warning will stick around too as a result of that high pressure ridge. Well, temperatures for highs tomorrow, nice comfortable day in Detroit, 76 for a high, Cleveland 77, 10 degrees warmer in Boston, the nation's capital 93. What we're looking at is a trough of low pressure that's going to dive down into the central United States over the upcoming week and kind of stick around too. And that means a cool couple of weeks over the central U.S. after they've been battling a pretty hot summer there in places like Kansas and Omaha and also into St. Louis. Well, for boaters, winds out of the southeast tomorrow. They'll switch around in the afternoon, 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be running 1 to 2 feet with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. The 7-day forecast, and a slight chance for scattered late-day storms tomorrow at 30%. Same on Friday. High temperatures are pretty close to seasonal averages. And then a little less chance on Saturday as some of that drier air starts to seep in, and 30% chance on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. We'll get back to that westerly component, though, with some morning showers on Tuesday and Wednesday. Alan will be right back after this.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch ABC7 wherever you are, on our live stream, on mysuncoast.com, on the ABC7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, dining with recipes, and My Suncoast Restaurant Guide. Visit mysuncoast.com. Click on the Apps tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for Apple and Android. Introducing the ABC7 First Alert Weather Tracker. This all-new mobile weather lab is just one more way. The team you trust is keeping you ahead of the storms. The ABC7 First Alert Weather Tracker, sponsored by Mr. Sparky, America's on-time electrician.
Tomorrow at 9 on Suncoast View.
We never miss a chance to celebrate. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we'll raise a glass with Siesta Key Rum for National Rum Day and celebrate a new version of the Suncoast award-winning product. Sarasota Opera presents performers you might not expect as they wrap up their special summer season. Plus, all-natural nut butters made right here on the Suncoast, and Morton's Market is in the kitchen.
Tomorrow at 9 on Suncoast View.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local boys and girls clubs. Great futures start here.
You know, fortunately, this was my first job out of college, so I was able to come back home and work in my hometown. I wore two hats. I was sports director and I was a news anchor. I did that for a few years and then decided to go full-time into news. Well, I love our team here at ABC7. We have a great mix, and it really is a great mix of personalities, of experience that meshes really well into a really strong team. I'm Scott Dennis, and I'm here for you.
And our guests join us right now for closing remarks. And Representative Gonzalez, we'll start with you.
Well, thank you. And thank you again for having us in your living room. And thank you again for watching this debate. Look, it's a very important decision that we're about to make. It's a decision that will represent our district. I am the only candidate who's served this district as a physician. I'm the only candidate that has studied these issues, that has written on the Constitution, that has written on healthcare policy. I'm the only candidate that has been fighting against death panels and has been fighting against socialized medicine since 2003. I would hope that you would be able to consider my candidacy and break through from all the mistruths and lies and understand that I am a very strong Trump supporter, that I will continue to fight for conservative principles come January 2019 if blessed with your vote and the ability to serve you in Congress.
All right, Bill? If you really want to know where a candidate's loyalty is, look at the money. Mr. Stubbe's almost 50% of the money he's taken in is from out of state. You know, my special interest is the people of the 17th District, and that's all. That's the only money I've taken, and I will be loyal to them and not the money people. I'm a Christian, I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I want to work for these people and not for the special interest dollars and the swamp. You know, this is exactly what the president has been referring to as the swamp, is this kind of money spending by these kind of candidates. And I hope that you will consider me on August 28th. Thank you.
Senator, you get the last word.
Yeah, and thank you very much for having us on here and debate some of the issues going on in this race. Again, I just want to thank all of the citizens of Sarasota County to giving me the opportunity to represent them for the last 8 years. I want to take the conservative values and the things that I have fought for to Washington, D.C. I've been endorsed by the NRA because you won't find a stronger advocate and leader on the Second Amendment in the state of Florida, and I intend to do that in Washington. I've been endorsed by the Family Resource Council Action Pact because of my fighting for the unborn and for life. And I want to go up there and work with President Trump and pass his agenda. You won't find somebody that will work harder to work with President Trump to pass his illegal immigration plan, to build the wall, end chain migration, and end the visa lottery system.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. We want to thank our guests, State Senator Greg Stubbe, State Representative Julio Gonzalez, and businessman Bill Akins for joining us tonight. Don't forget, most importantly, August 28th, that is the primary. Please vote. That's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night.